Welcome. My name is Jasmine Cambodge, and I'm a medical oncologist and hematologist in the state of Minnesota and your host for the day. Empowering Oncologists is a podcast brought to you by OncoDaily, where we will focus on day-to-day concerns of an oncologist's being and workflow with a vision to find sustainable solutions. We hope to share our stories of wins, losses, resilience, and inspire and empower our community because we fly higher and longer when we fly together. For our session today, we will focus on the needs for cancer surgery globally. Before we dive in, a disclaimer: the views shared on the podcast are an individual's and in no way are contributions from any institution, organization, or guidelines. The 2015 publication of the Lancet Commission's Global Surgery 2030 report concluded that 5 billion people worldwide lack access to surgical care, mostly in LMICs. Another estimate indicates that only 25% of the global population has access to the necessary surgical intervention, and this number will increase by up to 52% by 2040. It is estimated that failing to address the need for cancer surgery will result in substantial economic losses, with one projection estimating a loss of up to $6 trillion in cumulative GDP by 2030 if surgical systems are not strengthened. So today, we have Dr. Todd Tuttle, who is professor of surgery and a surgical oncologist at the University of Minnesota. He graduated from Johns Hopkins School of Medicine and completed a surgical residency at the Medical College of Virginia and a surgical oncology fellowship at the MD Anderson Cancer Center. He holds the Regis Chair in Breast Cancer Research and is the Vice Chair of Global Surgery at the University of Minnesota. When not working, he loves to fish, play tennis, and scuba dive, and he is expecting his first grandchild tomorrow. Dr. Tuttle, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. You appreciate being here.
Todd, you are a surgical oncologist at the U of M. How did you get into global initiatives around research and education and started to deliver clinical care in countries like Honduras, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Mongolia, etc.?
It was kind of a weird trip, really. I had no interest in global health as a medical student, resident, fellow, and even early in my career as a surgical oncologist here. It was about mid-career when my children were getting up there in their middle school, and I was looking for opportunities for them to see what poverty looked like and that the world wasn't just our affluent suburb of Minneapolis. And it took me a long time to find something, but I eventually met a family physician who lives here in Minneapolis from Honduras, and he had taken groups of non-surgeons to his hometown in Honduras, and we decided to start an effort in surgery there. So that's how I got started. We were doing simple non-cancer operations in Honduras, and eventually we're able to build a breast cancer program down there, and it just became a huge part of my life. It became, my children have all been down to Honduras multiple times, and it's just part of our lives now.
That is awesome. That is beautiful. So is there a certain amount of time per year or per couple of years that you guys dedicate to this program?
I would usually go down about 2 or 3 times a year, 2 or 3 weeks a year.
Wow, that's a commitment. That's a commitment. Thank you. Any challenges or rewards through these endeavors?
There are lots of challenges. The airlines are a big challenge. It's become more difficult to travel, I think, since COVID. There's challenges of just time. Busy surgeon here. I've had my own research and education. I have my own family here, my own friends here. So time is a big issue. Language is an issue. And I never took one Spanish class in high school or college. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought my experiences there would be more rich if I learned Spanish. And so I've
Mm-hmm.
been trying to learn Spanish through tapes and watching
Mm-hmm.
Spanish soap operas, and I've gotten better, but
Mm-hmm.
I still not great. A couple of years ago, I told a woman with an estrogen receptor positive breast cancer in Spanish, I told her she would have to be on tamoxifen for 5,210 years. And the interpreter's looking at me and shaking his head to the patient, silly gringo, no, you're not going to have to be on tamoxifen for 5,000 years. So
That's fun.
there have been challenges. Um, it's difficult. So, some of the governments are unstable
Mm-hmm.
and dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But the rewards have been fantastic. It's a very common interaction that I have with the patient, and she will look me in the eye and say, I trust God first and you second. And that happens
Oh.
all the time down there. The people are so appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
The doctors there we work with are
Yeah.
amazing. And you really feel like you have this gift, or you have this privilege of
Mm-hmm.
having the opportunity to help these people
Yeah.
who are essentially just waiting for a ridiculous amounts of time to have their cancer surgery.
Wow, that is fascinating. I mean, as you said, these people are so appreciative, and thank you for all that you do and sacrificing on your time. I think that's a lot of effort. Thank you for those things. Todd, you worked with the Global Breast Cancer Initiative of the World Health Organization. How did you get involved with that, and how has your journey been with them?
So it was a great opportunity for me. Dr. Ben Anderson, who's at the University of Washington, has done probably more than anybody else in trying to improve breast cancer outcomes in low and middle income countries, invited me to participate. And the real goal is to try to reduce breast cancer mortality rates worldwide. So, for
Right.
example, in the United States, the 5-year survival for breast cancer patients exceeds 90%. In countries like Honduras, Sub-Saharan Africa, Mongolia, the survival rates at 5 years are less than 50%. And this huge disparity is reversible. And I think that the World Health Organization has done a good job of trying to educate providers and ministries of health to try to identify ways to decrease the mortality rates by breast cancer early detection. It's been very useful for me in my work with trying to advocate for breast cancer resources in the governments in Honduras and in Mongolia.
Mhm.
So it was a great experience for me, and I was appreciative to have it.
You have also initiated the first global breast cancer fellowship in the United States, right? And so tell us about that program and how may one apply for that program? Are all U.S. medical graduates eligible to apply for that, or are international graduates from other countries can apply for that? Tell us about that program.
Well, thank you. So when I first started going down to Honduras, I would bring a team down, and we would be able to provide free surgical care to poor women who are waiting to have their breast cancer surgeries. And in a
Uh-huh.
typical week, we might be able to treat 20 to 25 breast cancer patients in a 1 week. And that's a good start, but it's not a good long-term program. So we
Mm-hmm.
decided that we're going to focus more on education. We want to train the leaders in these countries to deliver care. So, for example, there are over 60 fellowships, breast cancer fellowships in the United States and Canada. But
Uh-huh.
physicians from low and middle income countries are just not competitive for
Mm-hmm.
these fellowships. They just haven't had enough training. They don't have enough research experience. And so we decided to offer a very similar program to physicians who are only from low and middle income countries. And so we've had 2 that have completed the program so far, one from Mongolia, one from Honduras. Our current fellow is from Pakistan. And the goal is that they will receive multidisciplinary breast cancer training. So they rotate with surgical oncology, plastic surgery, medical oncology, radiation oncology, breast radiology, pathology. And we train this clinical breast cancer expert. And then they go back home and lead breast cancer efforts in their country. And so I think it's probably, this program is kind of the highlight of everything I've been doing in global health for the past 15 plus years. And that is training people who are going to make a difference in their own country. And I'm getting away I'm shifting away from doing surgeries myself, unless it's in an educational context.
Beautiful. So let me ask you this. So you are particularly having candidates from LMICs, not from the U.S. Is that correct?
Correct. You have to be from a low middle income country.
Yeah. And how long is the program for? And what's their eligibility criteria? Like, they obviously probably have to be MD, or do they also have to have done their residency in their home country?
Yes. So they have to have they have to be from an LMIC. They have to have completed their residency. The requirements for the University of Minnesota Board of Regents is that they had to complete USMLE Step 1 and 2. And one of the big requirements, it was hard to know this when you're interviewing somebody, is that they do not come back. They do not stay in the United States. They have to go home.
Got it.
And we do not, the worst thing that we could do is to take some gifted physician from Uganda and then have them stay in the United States. So that's probably the most important criteria that I try to glean from their CV, from interviewing them, from people who write them letters about, are you going to go home and treat poor people?
That is fascinating that you've structured a program in a way that you attract the best minds, you train them, but you also make sure that they go back and serve their communities, serve their country, because that's where the need is. And hats off to you for designing a program like that. It's absolutely fascinating and terrific work. Thank you.
Well, I also tell them that they're not done with me. Even though their fellowship may be over, they are stuck with me for, well, at least the rest of my career, for mentorship. So I'm going back down to Honduras in November to mentor our previous fellow. I'm going back to Mongolia in probably May or June. And what's nice is that when they come here, they rotate through all these different services, and we expect them, my expectation is that they will set up multidisciplinary breast cancer programs in their home countries. And so they've worked with medical oncology, and if they want advice about how to set up an infusion center, what drugs they should concentrate on, they already have mentors here in medical oncology and now radiation oncology and pathology. So it's not just me, and the training doesn't just stop when they leave Minnesota.
I'm very sure that they're all super appreciative of your efforts and for the persistence of, your outreach to continue the mentorship for them, even when they go back.
They might be annoyed too, but they're stuck.
No, I don't think so. All right, Dr. Tuttle. Seems like you have had a fair share of experience around surgical issues and, surgery on a global platform. How are we doing in terms of cancer surgery across the world? Is there, are we meeting the needs of the people? Seems like the numbers we discussed at the start of the podcast are super terrifying and staggering. Like, how are we doing about global surgery on?
Honestly, not great. Since it's been 10 years since the 2015 Lancet Commission, we still have a huge number of problems. About 15 million people are diagnosed with cancer each year worldwide, and about 80% of those individuals are going to need an operation. And for people living in low and middle income countries, they do not have access to safe, affordable, urgent surgical care. And cancer surgery is a team sport. You need medical oncology, radiation oncology, pathology, And studies have clearly shown huge deficits of numbers of patients, of specialty providers in LMICs. Like 90% of LMICs don't have access to radiotherapy. They don't have access to CT scans. So it's extraordinarily difficult. There have been some gains. I think one thing that has happened over the last 10 years since the 2015 Lancet Commission is that there's much more visibility about the need. I think that people now feel like it's not completely insurmountable. We can do it. There have been some successes. The World Health Organization, the Global Breast Cancer Initiative, has been a success, and countries have been able to move the needle with breast cancer in some countries. But it's a staggering problem. But I think it's something that we just need to keep our eye on the ball.
Absolutely. And I think this is one of those areas where I feel like talking about it and discussions around it are so important for raising awareness. Like I had no idea until I had that chat with you at the MISCO board about the global cancer surgery related issues and its needs. So thanks a lot for all your efforts. Todd, one philosophical question for you. What would be one piece of advice that you would give to yourself of 10 or 20 years ago?
Be comfortable being uncomfortable. I think
Very
some of the most rewarding experiences I've had in my life have been in situations or environments where I'm not comfortable. It's not comfortable going to a foreign country where you don't know anybody, you don't know the language, you're not sure how things are going to work out. And yet, it's certainly been one of the most rewarding parts of my life or my career as getting involved in that situation. I became involved with this prison ministry through our church, and I was able to visit the center in Minneapolis, and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, but it's an amazing opportunity to help people who are really in need. And so we get stuck in our, and certainly 20 years ago, I was the same way. I was busy with my family, building my career, you know, trying to have nice things and have a comfortable life. But I think there's a lot more to be said by being in an uncomfortable situation. I think you can, some of our greatest needs in the world are in difficult environments.
Very, very well said. Thank you. Thank you. A bit of a rapid fire for you. Your favorite book?
My favorite book in recent years is A Gentleman in Moscow.
Is there anything in particular you like about that book?
It's just so beautifully written. Armor Tolles is the author. He's written several others. It's just beautifully written. It's about a kind of a duke in pre-revolutionary Russia, and then the revolution comes and he gets imprisoned in the hotel. And the character development is great. The plot just builds and builds and builds, and just very rich and well written.
Your favorite leader?
Football coach Tom Osborne from the University of Nebraska.
Okay. Did you play football?
No, I didn't. I was not big enough. I grew up in Nebraska. In Nebraska, everybody loves the college football team. And Tom Osborne, who was a PhD in education, won 3 national championships. And he had this quiet leadership. Very good person, very, very good role model.
Beautiful. Your favorite cancer study?
It's probably NSABP B06. I tell my residents and fellows that this is the most impactful randomized trial ever done in surgery, and really changed the lives for a lot of women.
Your favorite restaurant in Edina, Minnesota?
There's a new one called the Starling. It used to be at Old Perkins, and there's a Starling Cafe, and that's pretty good.
Beautiful. We'll have to try that. And your favorite scuba dive spot in the world?
Yeah, my friends in Honduras would come after me if I didn't say Roatan. Roatan's an island off the coast of Honduras. It's absolutely gorgeous. The dive sites, it's one of the best dive sites in the Western Hemisphere, and when
Mhm.
you're on the island. It's like a 5-minute
Mhm.
boat ride to all the different dive sites. It's that
Yeah.
close.
And when did you become PADI certified?
Um, Maybe about 10 years ago. I was going to Honduras all the time, and
Mhm.
after we worked, we would fly to Roatan, and I would
Mhm.
snorkel. The
Mhm.
snorkeling is really good. It's like I need to get deeper, and so it was
Mhm.
about 10 years ago I got certified down in Honduras. But it's a
Wonderful. Wonderful.
with my experience.
Todd, a fun fact question about you. Could you please share with our audience what your license plate is like and the story behind it?
Well, my license plate on my truck says, uh, "I hate cancer." That's abbreviated with an 8 in there. And
Mhm.
it started with a few years ago, the University of Minnesota physicians wanted us to update our bios on the website, and people were writing had very nice bios. I went to Harvard. I went to
Mhm.
Stanford Medical School. My philosophy on treating patients is this: I like pina
Mhm.
coladas, blah blah blah. And I
Mhm.
decided just to put 3 words: I hate cancer.
Yeah.
And they accepted it. I thought, oh, there's no way they're going to make me put all the other stuff. So it became
Mhm.
I hate cancer. And that's all it
Mhm.
said on my bio, our website. And I have so many comments from physicians and patients about this. I hear you hate cancer. And so then I decided, well, maybe I'll take it a little bit further. And I put it on the end of my signature in my emails. I hate
Yeah.
cancer. And then I decided I'm going to go to the DMV and I'm going to see if they will possibly take this. I didn't know if they would
Mhm.
take anything with the word hate in it or
Mhm.
abbreviation hate, but they took it. And so
Wow.
and so that's how I kind of it's
Mhm.
sort of become my little
Mhm.
trademark.
That's a wonderful story. Thank you. Thank you. Last question for you, Todd. If you were to relive your life, would you choose to be a surgical oncologist?
Well, if obviously in my next life I would choose to be a quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings and I would lead them to their first Super Bowl. That's what I would do. Unless, of course, in my second life, I didn't have those skills,
Mhm.
and then I would 100% be a cancer surgeon. I love being a surgeon.
Mhm.
It's such a special privilege
Mhm.
being involved with cancer patients.
Mhm.
You get an intimacy there that I just can't imagine is true with any other field. Close to my patients. I didn't listen to what they told me in medical school about keeping that distance. I violate that distance and I get close with the patients and uh I have no regrets. It can be hard, but it just feels like you're human, you're living the way you should. So I
Right.
would 100%, if I couldn't play football, I would
Right.
100% be a cancer surgeon again.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Tuttle. So, the three key takeaways for the oncology community from our conversation today with Dr. Todd Tuttle. Number one, there are always challenges and rewards associated with things that you do above and beyond your own, comfort zone or your own country. As Dr. Tuttle mentioned, time constraints, language constraints, etc., have been some of the challenges. But the rewards of feeling appreciated and feeling valued from from the service that he provides to LMIC patients is spectacular, is precious. And so I think we all should try to dive in those avenues and see what we can do based on the stages of our career and our family lives. Number two, I really, really like the setup of how his oncology fellowship program is laid out, where they hire or they take candidates from LMICs with a prerequisite that they will go back and serve their own community and country. And this actually not only applies to a global platform, it also applies to our community and rural programs. And some other programs in the country are running something similar where they will take a community, fellow with a condition that they would go back and serve the same community or a rural population. So this is spectacular. And last but not the least, I really like how he said, "Be comfortable with being uncomfortable." When we are in our comfort zone, folks, for too long, I think our progress stops. So if you want to scale your progress, just try to reflect on how uncomfortable you are time and again. And I think it does make a difference. So that is all for today, folks. Thank you to our viewers and listeners and Dr. Todd Tuttle for his time. This is Jasmine Cambodge and Todd Tuttle signing off on behalf of OncoDaily from our conversation on empowering oncologists. And now we have an Empowering Oncologist playlist on YouTube. Don't miss an episode and stay tuned. Thank you.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to OncoDaily on YouTube. Hit the bell icon to stay updated.